Dobrý deň prajem všetkým účastníkom.
Good afternoon, everybody. In my presentation, I would like to tell you more how the Lesy Slovenskej republiky company applies the nature close forest management. The company, Lesy Slovenskej republiky, was set up or originated by putting together of six smaller former companies, which is currently managing more than 880,000 hectares of forest land. Since its very beginning, Lesy Slovenskej republiky has shown interest in nature-close forest management. In 2000, it started close cooperation with representatives of Silva, Slovakia, who were pioneers professor at the University of Forest Management. Silva is an association which subscribes to the use of the growth potential of forest, using such close to nature procedures that maintain all features of forest, in a special relation to society and biodiversity.
Prosila Slovakia je súčasťou celoeurópskeho združenia lesníkov, ktoré bolo založené v roku 1989 a v súčasnosti združuje 27 európskych štátov. V rámci spolupráce so združením
Under our cooperation with this association, the Slovak Forest Company is focusing on forestry days, excursions, study trips, where we visit facilities where they do nature close management. We publish professional articles in forestry magazines. We cooperate in publishing professional and popular science publications. We also support related research, and last but not the least, we provide information to members of both professional and lay public on the ProSilva activities at its website. ProSilva has a department at the State Forest Company's website where we keep updated information with focus on this particular field. After the initial years when we've been becoming acquainted with the subject at hand, since 1995 we would start focusing on practical implementation by issuing a company ordinance, nature clause forest management instruction, and the reasons for that were mainly effort to increase ecological stability of the forest at the times of advancing climate change, when a few years prior to this decision, Slovakia has been affected by two strong weather storms in 1995 in leaf forest, and then in 2004 in high altitude pine forest, where a large part of our most famous national park was destroyed. We had to also satisfy demands of the society looking an aesthetic and recreational function in a forest. Also compatibility with nature protection requirements in conservation and improving biodiversity of forest communities. And the not least goal was the streamlining of economy of our company by long-term expectations, having been focusing on lower production costs with better wood assortments and high quality. During the period since between 2005 and 2012, we focused on looking for suitable locations obtained based on information from forestry operations, during which time we've established 219 integrated facilities with a total area of more than 51,000 hectares. These stands and facilities have the ProSilva badge, the ProSilva mark and seal. ProSilva means for the forest, it's from Latin, And it symbolizes idea of carrying the pro-Silva organization stream of thought, or school of thought, if you will. Foresters that have been responsible for managing these sought-out locations have passed training at model facilities we created within our company for this purpose. We have 5 of those locations as experimental laboratory facilities where we could present and test at specific locations. Each of these facilities has had a project drafted by foresters implementing or proposing implementing of specific measures, bringing the management closer to nature. This strategy since 2013 has been elevated to a higher level, which means that the effort in changing our management methods have directly been amalgamated into 10-year-long plans of forest management, which would be implemented every 10 years for a specific area, and every time we would focus our attention on stands suitable for this particular purpose. So selection criteria were established based on cooperation with the National Forestry Center in the city of Zvolen, while the main criterion has been suitability of the stand in question. So we would focus on the main wood species growing in the Carpathian forests, going from the lowest altitudes, oak, beech, pine, and of course spruce, in conditions where it's suitable for this type of species. In addition to the main criterion, we would also focus on the age of the forest habitat and the forest stands, where we would include ages in which one can already do thinning or recovery logging and felling. We, by doing so, try and gradually rebuild the stands to the structure which is close to nature in terms of height, altitude, and differentiation in age and cover and thickness. During the period of 2013 and 2020, thus we've created additional 52 such facilities. So together we have 271 of them, total area of 77,800 hectares. In order to be informed one another, at our website we would publish at regular basis these procedures, that for each one of those facilities and locations we have documentation available defining clearly all the procedure that has been implemented in these particular locations. Basically, a new stage has occurred currently when beginning last year, nature close management has become a part of our legislation in Act on Forest. It's specifically defined. These are procedure for restoration and growing, differentiate for age, species, genetic and spatial structure that are as close as possible to the natural forest characteristic of the condition of given site. So that's the definition from the Act itself. Now, the application thereof, the Act stipulates that in the case of NCFM, procedures are based on the principle of selection of trees for harvesting from the stand individually or in clumps or small groups of up to 0.20 hectares. In case the terrains of the stands are in a slope of more than 40%, a cableway needs to be applied. This area could be increased up to 1.5 hectares. This particular area has found understanding even with the current government manifesto, where, according to the government's declaration for the period 2020 to 2024, the nature-based, nature-closed forest management has become the basic strategy of the state forest management. Responding to this fact has been by the state forest management company by since 2021 we've selected suitable stands, not only those for which we've previously drafted the 10-year plans of management, so it's 1/10 of the area, but currently all of our stands we manage also we will apply there our selection criteria. So the suitability of the habitat conditions shown us that currently we can consider NCFM at almost up to 50% of our total area, which is about 442,000 hectares, of which about 2/3 are located on a slope of up to 40%. So these are up to 40% slope. There we can preferentially apply the basic selection, so selectively harvest of up to 0.2 hectares. The remaining 1/3, where the sloping is above, on slopes of above 40%, where often cableway systems are required to be used. We are allowed by law to apply these renewal of up to 1.5 hectares size plots. In order to get to the figures now recently presented by Mr. Beňuška, that in Slovakia would like to get up to 25% of NCFM method in our forestry company, it would mean that we currently, with the interventions we do by thinning or renewal felling of up to 30,000 hectares currently. So it's about 25,000 currently done by thinning, felling, and 30,000 when it's divided by 2 and adjusted to about 50% of opportunity being able to apply NCFM. This would take us to about 15,000 hectares annually, about 2% of total. So by 2030, it could be 20%. In addition to what we already do. So following this trend, our company could manage by, in 10 years from now, about 1/4, maybe more than that, of all of our forests in this, applying this method. So let me conclude by summarizing that basically for us, NCFM, nature-closed management, is for future generations. We want to introduce this NCFM method as the main method, creating forest which would be close to the primordial forests while retaining its optimal economic potential use. And the result of this type of management should be the improved quality of ecosystem services provided, and achievement of production balance, sustainability, and economic efficiency of our work. Thank you for your attention.